shit each other.
Okay. Okay. We're live. You ready?
Hold on. Well, give me. I guess I'll be fine. Come on, dude. I fucking hate that. You have AirPods?
I do.
Like, does your fucking case ever have one just not charge?
Yeah, it like says that, but then it's like it's fine. I don't know. Sometimes mine like.
Yeah, I don't know. This one should be fine. All right, so then we'll just run through these teams or whatever real quick.
Yeah, we can just go back and forth, or I can just rip most of them. I don't really give a shit. And then lastly, we'll just rip NL East. Just give our fresh predict. Can you hear me on your headphones good?
No, I can't actually. I don't know why I didn't connect.
Motherfucker.
Good? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep.
And your headphones? All good?
Yeah. Yep. I think so.
All
All right, let's get into it.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Phenomenal Fan No, not the Phenomenal Fan podcast, Between the Stitches podcast, baseball podcast, because we're baseball guys and we talk about baseball. And that's what we're known for, Jared. We're known for baseball.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, that's what we talk about. It's not the Phenomenal Fan podcast. Between the Stitches. We got a decent episode today, Jared. Pitching is absolutely king. It is the number one reason, the number one factor, the number one indicator for success, and we will tell you exactly why. We will give you 3 reasons why every team in the major leagues will win the World Series in the next 3 years. So, if you're a fan of literally any Major League Baseball team, stick around to hear your reasoning for your team. And lastly, we'll give you our rankings or predictions for how the National League Eastern Division will unfold. Very, very interesting division with a lot of really good teams and a lot of really good players. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's just jump into it, Jared. Let's go.
Let's go. Batter up. We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a home run, but even a triple's okay. We're gonna cheer and boo and raise a hullabaloo at the ball game today. At the ball game, a wonderful ball game today.
All right, Jared. We are back for episode number 6 of Between the Stitches. We are excited for this one. I'm excited for this one because a lot of people, Jared, a lot of the casual baseball fans like to walk around and talk about, oh, look at all these dope guys, big, strong home run hitters, and they hit the ball that's so far, and then they score, and then they win. Wrong. You're wrong. Home runs are cool. Offense is cool. But guess what, Jared? Pitching wins championships. It wins, and we have proof that pitching wins championships with our first topic of the day that I stumbled across. A couple days ago, I was looking at stats. I think I was just looking to see, as a Padres fan, I think I was just like debating with my fellow Padres buddies about, they were like, oh, dude, the Padres weren't that bad last year in the pitching. And I was like, nah, they were pretty average. And my buddies were like, no, dude, they were like top 5. I was like, no, okay, now I have to look. And sure as shit, I just Googled MLB 2021 team pitching rankings or something like that. And I came across the rankings of how each major league team finished last year in regards to team earned run average. It's a great indicator. ERA is not everything for pitchers, but it's almost everything. So going through the list, initially I'm counting through this list. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14th is where the Padres finished, and then I go back to my buddies. I'm like, I fucking told you, I'm smarter than you. I know everything. You know nothing. That's why I have a baseball show, and you don't. But the Padres last year finished with a team ERA of 4.10, which, if you think about, it's like not that bad, right? 4.1 it's you're a starting pitcher in the major leagues, I guess. Like, it's respectable. It's not like awesome, but it's not bad. I mean, that'll get you a 5 spot, maybe in a rotation or long relief bullpen piece, or maybe a 2 or 3 starter on a shitty ass team, But I saw the Padres come in at 14th, and I was like, well, wait a second here. Hold on. Okay, I'm going through, and I'm like, well, okay, so that number 1 team finished first, made the playoffs. The Dodgers are first with a 3.01 ERA. And by the way, just before we keep going on this, perspective on that, Jared, the Dodgers pitching staff as a team, their ERA was 3.01, and the last place Baltimore Orioles ERA was 5.8. So a 2.5, almost 3 runs per game difference between the first place team and the last place team. That is fucked. Like, that is bad.
Yeah. And that's on average.
Yeah.
So it's
like they probably had guys
like
like in
that.
the 6s and 7s on the Orioles, like easily.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And they even had some like breakout stars last year.
Yeah, like John Means was
call them
good.
stars.
Yeah.
John Means was good. John Means Business.
Like,
that's a cool name.
Yeah, that's a really cool one. Think about
no,
the guy's ERA on the flip side that had to cancel out John Means' average and bring it up to a 5.8 when he probably threw it like a 3.7. Like, so then who was the guy on the flip side that threw it a 7.4 to fucking, even out that 3.8? Like, that's just crazy. But I went through the list of all the teams, and I was like, okay, number 1 on the list, best pitching staff ERA in all of baseball last year was the Dodgers. Okay, not very surprising, right? I mean, Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer for half the year, Julio Urias, dominant bullpen. Like, they dominated. 3.01. Next team on the list, second ranked team ERA, the Giants, 3.24. Then the Brewers at 3.5. The Rays at 3.6. The White Sox at 3.7. I'm going through this list. I'm like, okay, hold on. Number one's the Dodgers. They made the playoffs. Number two is the Giants. They made the playoffs. Number three is the Brewers. They made the playoffs. Rays made the playoffs. White Sox made the playoffs. Yankees made the playoffs. Astros made the playoffs. The Braves come in at 8. They made the playoffs. And then the first time that methodology doesn't come through is the 9th ranked team, which was the Mets at 3.9. But I think everybody would agree that the Mets had a wildly underperforming offensive season last year. And so, of course, baseball is complementary, but the Mets were finished 9th in the league in ERA and didn't make the playoffs. The Blue Jays finished 10th, and the Blue Jays were close to the playoffs. The only, I guess you would say, outliers in this situation is the Marlins, who finished 11th in ERA, and they were not close to the playoffs. But, like, the Marlins have really good pitchers, and that's why a lot of people this year are like, like, Marlins probably won't make the playoffs, but, like, they're kind of sneaky, you know? Like, what if they, like, win games?
They were kind of sneaky. I just like
yeah, they're just that division's
we'll
too
get to that
good.
later.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's the division now, especially with the big free agency moves, is way too good of a division for the Marlins to somehow sneak in.
Yeah. So the only two teams, Jared, that didn't finish in the top 10 in ERA, because 10 teams made the playoffs last year. The only teams that didn't finish in the top 10 in ERA that made the playoffs were the Cardinals at 12 and the Red Sox ranked 16th. And the Red Sox doesn't surprise me because they scored roughly 33 runs a game last year as an offense with
I think I did see that stat somewhere.
yeah, 30
Adam Schefter
32 and a half, 32.8, but we'll round it up to 33. No, but Devers, Bogarts, JD, Verdugo, Schwarber at the end of the year, Kike Hernandez. I mean, like, fuck. Like, that's a great lineup. And then the Cardinals, but that also doesn't surprise me because the Cardinals are just like, they just win baseball games. And they're probably just going to find a way to do it again this year because they don't have like this lineup or this even roster that's like, holy shit, they're so good. But they have enough guys where you're like, you know what? They're going to make the playoffs again. Like, they're a historic franchise. They sell out every fucking night. They play hard. They got scrappy guys. They got power guys. They got great fundamentals. They play great defense. They throw the ball well enough on the mound, and they score just enough runs to win baseball games. And they also last year, I think, just got incredibly hot, and they won, like, 17 in a row or something stupid. Not 17, but, like, I think it was, like, literally 14 games in a row in September, and they made the playoffs. So that also helps and, contributes to a team making the playoffs. But the general point, Jared, is that honestly, like, looking at this list, some examples of teams that would make sense of like, oh, they'll definitely make the playoffs this year, right? Like, everyone's like, the Phillies will be really good and they'll make the playoffs this year. The Rangers may have a shot at sneaking in a wild card spot. The Padres, the Mariners, like, all these teams are like, hey, they're loaded offensively, right? Seattle upgraded with Winker and Suarez, and everyone's talking about their hitters. Philadelphia, Castellanos and Schwarber and Harper, and everyone's talking about hitting. You go to Texas, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien. Like, oh my God, these guys are hitters. If those teams don't pitch, they're not going to make the playoffs. Bottom line, plain and simple. You got to throw the rock to win games.
Especially when it comes down to the bullpen. Like, it's like the starting pitching, obviously, like,
it's important, right?
I feel like it's weird because starting pitching and bullpen is almost like two different segments, because you can, like, that's why if you go to a sports book, they have a first 5-inning bet, because it's basically saying, hey, you like Max Scherzer to start this game and the team to be winning at the end of this, but you almost can expect that if it's a close game, because usually it's going to be ace against ace. Scherzer's not going to go against the other team's number 5.
Sure.
So Scherzer might be going against a pretty decent pitcher who might also only let up 1 run, 2 runs, or none. So like you bet the first 5 innings, hoping that your starter is going to outduel their starter, and you kind of just are saying, "Fuck the bullpens." Like I don't want to deal with the bullpens, because what a slap in the face that is. It's like almost like saying, betting on the Packers last year with Rodgers starting the first 3 quarters, then what's his name, Jordan Love comes in. For the fourth quarter. It's like, oh well, who knows?
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
I think that's why also, like, when you start to realize how important pitching is, of course, it doesn't surprise you in this list. Like the Brewers are top 3, Dodgers are first. But I think one team that should be getting a lot more looks as far as like World Series potential. Not that people don't think they aren't really good already, but the White Sox, dude. The White Sox starting with dude, okay. The White Sox were so good last year. And that's because they scored a lot and they had really good pitching. But they've gotten better. Like, literally, they have gotten better. Their rotation is going to go Giolito, Lance Lynn, Kopech, Dylan Cease, Dallas Keuchel. That's very good. Jared, their bullpen is maybe the most disgusting bullpen I've ever seen in my life, and it's not even close.
It looks like it looks like it literally could be like an all-star bullpen.
They have Liam Hendricks, Craig Kimbrell, Kendall Graveman, Garrett Crochet. Okay, so hold on. Let's just Liam Hendricks 100, Craig Kimbrell 99 to 100, Kendall Graveman 97, but it's moving 9 inches both ways, both directions at 97. Joe Kelly 100, Garrett Crochet 103. Ryan Burr 100. Like, holy fuck. So when you talk about pitching, and especially bullpen pitching, like winning you games, the White Sox, Jared, are going to play they're going to win a lot of 6-inning baseball games this year. A lot of 6-inning baseball games, because they're going to be up by 3 in the 6th, and then game will be over. Like, over. No chance. And of course, they'll have a handful of, each guy will have a blow-up game or 2, which happens, right? But they're going to play a lot of 6-inning baseball games. So that must be a great feeling, right? If you're a White Sox player or coach, you're like, fuck, dude, Giolito, just get us through 6. Let's put up 4, and then we win. Like, game over.
Yeah. It's what's funny is that the probably the most watched baseball game last year was that Field of Dreams, in which we saw that
Liam Hendricks
bullpen actually collapse.
Yeah.
Which it was Liam Hendricks that collapsed. But it's like, if you watch that game and you haven't watched much other baseball, like, you would be like, oh, I remember that Liam Hendricks guy.
Yeah.
But like, watch him on a normal day, or just on like, it's a 162 game season. He's gonna make, who knows, 60 appearances probably.
Yeah, 60, 70. Yeah.
I don't know, depending on the score.
Yeah.
And the fact that the funny thing is that Liam Hendricks is you have 3 guys that would be closers on almost any team.
100%.
You have 3 guys with Kimbrell, Hendricks, Graveman. Joe Kelly, if he went to like some of the smaller market teams, would actually probably be the closer as well.
Garrett Crochet
Garrett
could
Crochet
probably close anywhere.
be the closer.
And also, Garrett
else.
Crochet started in the minor leagues. He was a starter, so like, he might just start games this year. Like, holy shit, dude.
Wait, I thought Garrett Crochet bypassed the minor leagues.
You know what? He might have.
I think he did. I think he bypassed the minor leagues completely, because they didn't really have. That was 2020 when he came up. With the COVID year.
Maybe you're right.
So I think he got drafted and
out
then,
of Tennessee.
They didn't. I don't know. Yeah, and I think he just bypassed the minor leagues.
Also, what's the deal with like Tennessee pitchers? Just like,
how cool is that, by the way?
Yeah. Just never
not
play.
Have to ever deal. Just never have to deal with the minor league bullshit. You're just like in college one day, and the next day you're just a big leaguer.
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't even have minor league stats. So yeah, maybe you're right. That's fucking crazy, dude.
2020, I remember that.
He was a first round pick, 11th overall.
103.
Yeah, the first round pick, 11th overall, and then so he played at the Arizona Fall League. like the alternate site. So like he was there
Oh,
for like a
yeah.
minute, but they didn't have minor league shit. And then he got called up in September of last year. Yeah, that's wild. But the point is, I think he has starting capabilities, or that at least they might want him to find that role at some point. So, holy shit. Pitching is king, Jared. Pitching is king. That's the point we're trying to make. So, if you are a fan of a team, or you rooting for a team, or you're watching a team, and you think halfway through the year, holy shit, why are the fucking Tigers not doing good? They have all this young, exciting talent. It's like because they don't have the pitching. Their pitching's okay, right? Or whatever. You get my point.
Yeah.
So pitching is king. Keep that in mind for the entire season. We're gonna mark that one down. But segment 2 on this show is we have written out 3 reasons. 3 reasons why each team in the major leagues will win the World Series in the next 3 years. And some of these are obvious where it's like, of course, they're not going to win it, but these are the reasons why they could win the World Series in the next 3 years. If some cases, some teams are right there. Other cases, teams have a lot longer than 3 years. But we like to be optimistic on this show. So we'll take you through alphabetically based on location and just tell you 3 reasons why each team will win the World Series. Starting on the first name on the list, 3 reasons why the Arizona Diamondbacks will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, Alek Thomas, exceptional outfield prospect, talent, top 100 guy, gonna be a stud for him. Number 2, Ketel Marte just signed a contract with them, and they're paying him approximately $30 a season, frees them up financially to potentially sign some bigger guys and make a splash. Number 3, Brent Strom is their pitching coach, just came from Houston. Great pitching coach, especially with all the young, moldable talent they have on their pitching staff. They will succeed. Number 2, I will take the Braves, Jared. 3 reasons why the Braves will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, their young pitching. It is a joke. Max Fried, Soroka, Ian Anderson. I mean, it's a joke. Their bullpen's a joke too, but that's more short term. Long term, when they have Ian Anderson, Soroka, Max Fried, that is a joke. That's going to be a monster 3-headed group at the front end of the rotation. Number 2, Ozzie Albies contract. Again, similar to the Ketel Marte contract, except the Braves agreed to pay him $35 a year for the next 7 years. So frees up the Braves financially. Number 3, and this is going to be controversial, but I think the fact that they got rid of Freddie Freeman and on top of that got Matt Olson, because they got Olson for less. He may not be quite the player that Freddie Freeman is, but they couldn't afford to pay Freddie what he was going to ask. And instead, they made a move to get Olson, paid him a little bit less, and they're going to get close to the same production without having to pay an extra $12 million per year.
Not as pure of a hitter, not quite as pure of a hitter, but the power numbers are going to be there and not like a huge drop off.
Right. Yeah. So you can take the Orioles, Jared.
I'll take the Orioles. Yeah. So the Orioles. For the first reason, Cedric Mullins. He's a bona fide stud in the outfield. It's just he was the best player last year, and that brings me into reason number 2. Adley Rutschman is coming, and is he the number 1 overall prospect? In baseball,
I think he dropped to like 2.
Well, way down the list, huh?
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, he's number 2. So
yeah,
I mean,
the number 2 prospect in all of baseball. He'll be up. And then you still have some talent there with Trey Mancini in that lineup.
Yep.
And there's a chance. There's not a chance. But here, 3 years from now, is the third reason. They're gonna have more prospects. Here's the thing: is the Orioles have taken so many top 10 picks.
Oh, because they've been so bad
over the last 15 years. That there's probably guys down in their minor league system that we don't even know about yet. That if they were in different organizations would probably be one of their top prospects.
Yeah,
that's how many top 10 picks do they have.
Yeah, they have 5 guys in the top 100 too. Like that's
so
pretty good.
Yeah. And then that moves us into the Red Sox. Obviously, Trevor Story getting added to that prolific infield with Devers and Bogarts is arguably the best in baseball. Like we talked about in the last podcast. If Bobby Dahlbeck has like a 35 home run year.
Yep.
Behind that, Tanner Huck. Tanner Huck is like a right-handed Chris Sale type of pitcher, isn't he?
Literally.
He's that's literally what he makes me think of. They still have actually you just said Chris Sale got hurt again.
Yeah.
They still have plenty of talent. And like we just said, pitching's king. So if a guy like Tanner Huck can kind of rise to the top of to be like a bona fide ace, the Red Sox have a chance. And then third, Alex Cora, just a winning pedigree there. And if there's anybody that can guide a super team, it's probably Alex Cora.
Yeah, he's like, there hasn't been one player he's managed or coached that's not like he is fucking legit. So, yeah, Cora's a good one. 3 reasons why the White Sox will win the World Series in the next 3 years. We kind of already just touched on it, but number 1, nightmare bullpen. Like, just it's like a nightmare bullpen. Number 2, Luis Robert is a guy that might start to get overlooked. Please don't overlook him. He has the potential to win the American League MVP this season. I said that, like literally MVP. He is a Mike Trout caliber player. Number 3, for the White Sox, young arms, the control of the young arms, like we just mentioned. Garrett Crochet, Michael Kopech, Dylan Cease. I mean, shit, you could even throw Giolito in there. Like, these guys are young, they're controllable, they're moldable, they're so talented that it's going to be hard to take that away from them in the future, which is why they will have a World Series championship. Moving on to the north side of Chicago, right? Is that where the Cubs are? North side? Or are they the south side?
No, the Cubs or White Sox are south side.
Yeah, okay. 3 reasons why the Cubs will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, Jason Hayward is a free agent after the 2023 season. That will free up a lot of money. A lot of money. They're paying him like $20 million a year, and he is terrible. So that's going to help getting that contract off their books. Number 2, Marcus Stroman. He loves Chicago. He's a gangster. He's going to end up being one of those guys, if they get into a big game situation, that he's going to be their dude, and he's going to step up and throw some big innings for them. Number 3, after the Hayward contract specifically, but in a more broad scale, they're a big market team with a massive fan base coming off of a World Series in the last 10 years. They're going to have a huge budget to start rebuilding. Not even rebuilding, but they just signed a guy like Seiya Suzuki from Japan, and they have the budget to sign like 5 more dudes just like him. So their budget is going to put them in a good spot. Will it guarantee him a World Series? I don't know, but they could with the budget they have. So there you go. I'll take the Reds, Jared. I'll take the Reds because this one sucks.
It almost made me throw up.
Yeah, so
just looking at it.
3 reasons why the Cincinnati Reds will win the World Series. Number 1, let me say 3 reasons why the Cincinnati Reds will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, they won't. It will not happen. Number 2, Hunter Green, he's getting the call up this year. They already announced he's going to be on the opening day roster, so that's pretty cool. And when they had the massive dump overhaul in this last offseason and traded away literally almost all of their good players, they got a bunch of prospects back. So they can use those prospects, develop them, trade them for big name guys. I mean, I don't know what the plan is in Cincinnati, but that's I guess the gist of it for for the Reds. Not much to look forward to in Cincinnati, unfortunately, but
all right. The Cleveland Guardians. 3 reasons why they have a chance in the next 3 years. Jose Ramirez is a perennial MVP candidate who, with like some of the other hitters in the lineup, can actually produce quite a few runs. I know last year they seemed like they almost kind of had a little bit of a down year as well.
Yeah.
But I know that they had some big injuries. Who's the big bopper there? What's his name?
Franmil Reyes.
Can't think. Franmil Reyes. I think he was hurt and they only played he missed 40 games or so. They got some young, controllable pitching for sure.
McKenzie.
Let's go through their
Tristan
Yeah, there
McKenzie,
was Tristan McKenzie,
Cal Quantrill.
who else? Yep, who you said
Had the best second half.
won the second half
Yes.
in all of baseball last year.
Yeah, Tristan
And then,
McKenzie, Cal Quantrill, Zach Plesac is really good. They have one more guy, I thought. Logan Allen.
Yeah, no,
They have a good team, man.
and then
have
they
a
have
really
some
good team.
they have some decent decent bullpen arms.
Yeah,
That
well,
big
that's
all-around
exactly
check
young,
guy with
controllable
the-
pitching. Yeah, dude, that's what I meant. Like
Yeah.
they have Karen
there's a
Shack,
chance.
they have Claze. Yeah,
Yeah, and then on top of all that, they have 5 top 100 prospects.
pretty good.
So
It's pretty
those
good.
guys make it up and can do some damage and kind of surround Franmil Reyes and Jose Ramirez and
Yep.
bolster that lineup a little bit. There's a chance.
Good call.
Okay,
take-
I guess Colorado
Rockies.
Rockies.
Yeah,
You want me to take them?
yeah.
All right. Well, I am a Colorado guy, and I had to jump wagon, but here's 3 reasons. German Marquez is a bona fide ace in the major leagues. He pitches in the most difficult place to pitch in the entire country, entire MLB. And he still puts up ridiculous numbers. If he's throwing somewhere else and his slider's moving like it should, he's putting up like Cy Young type numbers, especially if there's an offense behind him.
Yep.
And then Ezekiel Tovar, the Rockies love him. He's a big time shortstop prospect that's coming up. I'm guessing has to do with a little bit with why they let Story go and didn't pay him big money, other than just being cheap asses in general.
Except they signed Trevor, Chris Bryant, but that made a lot of sense.
Yeah, they
But
signed. Yeah, they signed Chris Bryant. They let Nolan and Trevor go, but they signed Chris Bryant because
Yep.
that makes sense because that's just what they do. But there's a chance, and I guess we could say the reason number 3 is they're due for some 2007 Mile High Magic, and when they go on a 22 game win streak. And who did they beat? What was that team, Arnold?
Yeah. That we don't have to talk about.
What was it?
Matt Holliday just
Okay.
sliding over the top of home plate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so there's
He never
3
touched.
reasons for the
Yeah.
Rockies.
Yeah, Rockies fans, optimistic, but who knows? 3 reasons for the Detroit Tigers. 3 reasons the Detroit Tigers will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, Spencer Torkelson. I believe he was a 1-1 guy, first overall pick. If he wasn't, he was a first round pick. I think he was 1-1 though. Corner
I think he
infield.
was number 1 overall.
Yeah, corner infield prospect, just monster, like just a monster, smashes the baseball. Number 2, another prospect, Riley Green, outfield prospect, smashes the baseball. Those 2 guys are going to be middle of the order dudes for the Tigers in the next 6 to 10 years. Those 2 will contribute to a team, to the White Sox, to the Tigers if they win the World Series. Number 3, AJ Hinch. A lot of people forget AJ Hinch is the manager of the Tigers. He literally won the World Series as the Astros manager in 2017. Granted, literally every hitter on the Astros knew every pitch that was coming in every game the entire season, but Hinch was still the manager and he had to make pitching changes and decisions and everything else. So that's 3 reasons for the Tigers. 3 reasons why the Astros will win the World Series in the next 3 years. This is actually realistic, and the fact of the matter is Dusty Baker is their manager for reason number 1. Dusty Baker is so due for a World Series. It is unbelievable. That guy never won a World Series. He's been to 2. People talk about him he is probably a Hall of Fame manager when it's all said and done, but he took Barry Bonds and the Giants to the World Series in 2002 and lost, and took the Astros just to the World Series and lost that one. So 2 World Series that a lot of people believed he shouldn't have lost either, but he did. So he's due for a World Series, and he's done everything the right way, and everyone loves him, so he's due for a World Series. Number 2, on that topic of going from the World Series last year, they have so much World Series and postseason experience. It is unbelievable. Jose Altuve has played in 12 World Series in the last 3 years. Michael Brantley's played in every World Series. Maldonado, all their Lance McCullers, Verlander, all of their dudes have just literally been playing in the World Series. They played in the World Series in 2021, in 2019, in 2017. And if they didn't play in the World Series, they played in the ALCS. So that postseason experience is so crucial for a team to go back and to win. That's going to serve them big. Number 3, they have room to spend now because they didn't sign Carlos Correa. So they could very easily make a big splash and, trade for a guy that's got a high contract at the deadline and pay him off, as a rental for the end of the year. They're going to be in good shape. So good for them. And then I'll take the Royals, Jared, because I fucking love their top prospect. 3 reasons why the Royals will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, Bobby Witt Jr. My God, is he a good player. He is the top prospect in baseball. He is electric, like so good, like Fernando Tatis Jr. level type of player. Number 2, a little bit more of an under radar prospect, but a guy that's going to come up and contribute for them. He's a top 100 guy, Asa Lacy. For those of you who've played MLB The Show, you know who this guy is because he got a nice Future Stars card. He's a left-handed guy, mid-90s, sneaky little cutter sinker deal. He's going to be good. And then number 3, they have the veteran pitching that's going to take them to the places they want to go. They just signed Zach Greinke, believe it or not, and he's apparently getting their opening day nod, which is odd, but it's also important for them. Zach Greinke by himself is going to be able to, lead these younger guys on their pitching rotation to the promised land. They also just traded Jared for Amir Garrett, who is not that old, but he's probably considered a veteran at this point, having probably going into his 5th or 6th year in the major leagues. So they have those older, more experienced guys that are going to help doll up the younger guys in their rotation and in their bullpen, and will help them out. So there you go for the Royals.
All right. Next on our list, the Los Angeles Angels. And there's 3 reasons. You could actually probably name quite a few reasons. But MVP, potential MVP.
Yep.
So we're talking Shohei Ohtani, the best 2-way player that's ever played in baseball, besides maybe, Babe Ruth. But we're talking about modern day baseball.
Like actual real baseball players.
Yeah, real baseball, not like
not
I don't even know
hot dog eating
slapstick baseball.
Yeah.
You eat smoking cigarettes on the field, just hitting 83-mile-per-hour pitching.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ohtani just wins the MVP. Obviously, generational talent. Mike Trout gonna go down as a top 3 baseball player of all time, if not the best baseball player of all time. And then you have Joe Adele, who has yet to really have like a super like he just came up. What is he? Last year did he make his debut?
Like 23. Yeah.
He's like 23. Yeah, yet to really like have like his big splash in the MLB. But you're talking another guy that like had freak minor league statistics. That's just a matter of time before he gets adjusted to the major leagues and puts up that 35 home run year, 30 year or something crazy like that. So that's him. And then moving over to the other side of Los Angeles, you have the Dodgers. I hate to say it, I don't even want to talk about them really.
Nope.
Everyone talks about them already, so we don't really want to cover them. But they might be the best team ever assembled.
Offensively,
they always seem to be.
Yeah,
they always seem to be. They got a freakish team as usual. Julio Urias, which is kind of funny, is nobody really baseball, like real baseball fans know who Julio Urias is, but there's a lot of people that like they knew they had Max Scherzer last year and he came over.
Yeah, and Walker Buehler.
They still didn't even know that Urias and Walker Buehler. Yeah, they didn't know Urias was over there. But Urias won 20 games last year.
Yep.
So and he's young. Didn't he sign when he was 15? Or something like that and pitched in a game? I think he did.
Good question. Probably.
I think he literally pitched in a game when he was like 15 years old in the minor leagues. I believe he came from Mexico.
It's 16 years old. He made his professional debut in the low A. Yeah, 16.
Yeah. So he's 16. That's just absurd. And then on top of that, if the team that they have right now doesn't get it done, they have unlimited amounts of money to buy whatever talent they need to try to push them over the edge, to make them feel good about themselves. and make all those plastic people in LA love them more.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Unlimited money. It's awesome. Moving on from the Dodgers, is just hard to even speak that team name. 3 reasons why the Miami Marlins will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, Edward Cabrera. Anybody who played MLB The Show knows who Edward Cabrera is. He throws upper 90s as a starter. He has an electric arm. He is very young, and he's going to be a front-end starter for them. Number 2, you like Jazz? Jazz Chisholm is going to feature in the middle of that order for the foreseeable future. Maybe not the middle, but he's going to be a contributor to the lineup, top of the order guy, most likely. Got speed, he's a great athlete, and he's going to be a contributor for them. Number 3, Donnie Baseball, their manager, Don Mattingly. Incredible baseball mind, incredible baseball player in his career. Knows so much about the game that if the team were to make a run to the postseason, he would be the one to make the right moves and lead them to the promised land. Don Mattingly is a great manager, great baseball brain, and it's very likely he's going to contribute to a World Series run if they have one in the next 3 years. Moving on to the Milwaukee Brewers. 3 reasons why the Brewers will win the World Series in the next 3 years. They were close last year, right? Postseason berth, NL Central winners. Number 1, Corbin Burns. Seems almost not real, some of the pitches that he throws in game situations. Cy Young Award winner, nasty. Number 2, Josh Hader. Also, arguably the best bullpen pitcher in baseball. He's disgusting. And number 3, big acquisition for them, Jared. Somebody that I don't think a lot of people are realizing is going to help them out offensively because they struggled offensively last year. Hunter Renfroe to the Brewers. That guy drops dick. He hits balls all over the yard, 500 feet, and he's going to bolster that lineup, especially since they traded for Eduardo Escobar from the Diamondbacks last year, but then they lost him to the Mets. So picking up a guy like Renfroe is huge for them.
yeah, and another thing with that is Renfroe just got overshadowed. He just ended up in a big
Boston,
market
yeah.
with a bunch of star players. Yeah, and everybody's hitting 30 home runs. They don't appreciate you as much.
Yep.
So, Renfroe is an underappreciated talent. He really is going to be that good.
Yep.
All right, well, let's move on to the Twins. 3 reasons. You have Byron Buxton. Obviously, I still feel like Buxton is yet to really put together the year that we know he can.
Yeah, he
But
hasn't
he's
stayed healthy.
freakishly fast. Yeah, he's freakishly fast. If he can stay healthy, he's really gonna be that lineup is actually really good. There's actually a lot of talent in that lineup. That's another team that just kind of comes back to pitching. Royce Lewis, he's a top 10 prospect?
Dude, so he was, and then he just dropped. I think he kind of had a bad year last year, and then he dropped all the way to 46. But
Oh yeah, yeah. So, and
he's 22 though.
those
He's young.
rankings, like, like in those rankings, like, that's that they're doing their best to rank those guys. I'm sure that there's been guys on that list that are the number 20 prospect or whatever that come up and end up being the best in the MLB.
Yeah.
But, and then dumping Josh Donaldson is the 3rd reason. Saved themselves a lot of money. They got Correa for that short contract, right?
Yeah.
But they still have quite a bit of money, so that may be like a way that they can improve their pitching. Is actually spend a little bit of cash.
Yep.
Get a couple of guys that are like 2 starters. You
Yep.
don't go sign the ace for $170 million. Get a couple guys that'll take that $60 million contract.
Yep. Absolutely.
And the Twins could have a chance, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. You want to take the Yanks?
Yeah. I'll go ahead and take the Yanks. The Yanks play at a wiffle ball field. That's the first reason. And also that first reason is Aaron Judge plays at a wiffle ball field. They literally have the biggest team in baseball playing in the smallest field.
Yeah, I think
every guy's 6'5".
I think inches
When
wise.
Luke Voit, before they got rid of Luke Voit, like if they had that, like those guys, if they had Judge, Gallo, Stanton and Luke Voigt all in the lineup. It was like, what the? It looked like the older kids, like the varsity kids were coming down to play, play the JV sophomore guys.
Yep.
And that's literally what the Yankees look like. And they play in the smallest field. They got Anthony, how do you say his last name?
Volpe, I think.
Volpe. They love him as a shortstop prospect. You know that I don't think Gleyber Torres is the
future.
Kind of like the long-term answer there. It could be standing corrected. I guess I have recency bias with him. He hit 10 home runs after hitting 38. Don't know what happened there. Knock, knock. And then Jason Dominguez is an absolute freak. I don't know if you guys don't know who he is. Google him. He looks like Mike Trout got stung by bees, but he's like super athletic.
Yeah.
Like he's a freakishly thick, and he can swing the bat. He kind of, if it depends on how long he can stay athletic, but he kind of reminds me of when Miguel Sano was a prospect.
Yep.
Just swollen. He's big, but he's like, he's just huge.
Great
already.
athlete,
fast. I can only imagine what he's gonna look like. Yeah, what he's gonna look like when he's older. There's videos online if you want. Go look up him like hitting a home run. And it literally sounds like the bat he's punishing the bat and the ball. So that's why the Yankees could do it.
Yep. Yeah, Yankees, I mean, they have more than that, but those are, pretty good three reasons there. Crosstown guys, National League East, 3 reasons why the Mets will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Jacob deGrom, and probably more specifically, if Jacob deGrom could just stay on the field and pitch for them, realistically, this is as accurate as I could be. Realistically, he could throw with this season, if he pitches a full season, he could finish with a .02 ERA. Realistically, he could give up 2 earned runs in 230 innings. I mean, like, that's how ridiculous that guy is. But in all seriousness, Jacob deGrom is a key to their success. It's staying on the field. Number 2, Lindor will bounce back, and when he does, the Mets will be good offensively. Frankie Lindor bouncing back is huge for them. Most likely will happen. That's going to help them win a World Series. Number 3, Chris Bassett. Very underrated acquisition by the Mets this offseason. He is a stud. He's an all-star. And he's like their 4th best pitcher in their rotation. So I think he's their 3rd. I think he's their 3 starter. But still, it's like when you go DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, whoa, look out for the Mets and Chris Bassett. Up next, 3 reasons why the Oakland A's will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, Billy Beane. He's a magician. As we all know, he manages to get the best out of people. Number 2, they don't spend any money ever, which is bad, but also like good, because if somebody comes along or they have one of those young prospects and they have an opportunity to get extended, they can spend some money. But reason number 3 for them winning the World Series in the next 3 years is they will not win the World Series in the next 3 years. Sorry, Oakland fans. It's a tough way to hear it, but it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Sorry, guys. It is what it is. Jared, take the Phils.
Oh, the Phillies. You know what? I actually love the Phillies right now.
I know.
I love the Phillies. Not only is it because I work for a company that's based out of Philadelphia. Maybe that's a little bit of biased. I'm just around people that are Phillies and Sixers fans and Eagles fans all day long. So I guess I am a little bit biased, but I think that lineup is ridiculous. And one of the best reasons, or one of the best people that they added, obviously, or arguably the best. I mean, they got Castellanos as well, but Schwarber. But Schwarber is going to smash balls out of that field.
Yep.
And I think that's a good home for him. And that lineup is just ridiculously scary now. Just ridiculously scary. That's like one of those ones that, like, it wouldn't surprise me to see them do better than we think, even like exceed every expectation just because of their offense. Obviously, we talked about them a little bit before. We don't love their pitching, but it's not horrible. The starting pitching is not horrible.
Yep.
But Schwarber on the top of that list. And you got Zach Wheeler. I wouldn't be surprised to see Zach Wheeler like win a Cy Young at some point in his career.
Yeah,
he is that good at times. And he is going to be, the bona fide. Is he? Yeah, he's their bona fide.
Yeah, he's
ace,
their
right?
ace. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have any. They have some other guys that are just kind of like linger behind him, but he's their bona fide ace. looking forward to seeing what they can do this year, especially with all of that power at Citizens Bank Ballpark, which is just a shoebox.
Yep. No, it's
but it has more. I give it more respect than I would give.
Yankee Stadium?
Like Yankee Stadium or anything.
Yep.
So
agreed. Yeah, it's a small park, small park.
And then why don't you take the Pirates? Because I know you're high on some of their prospects, right?
Yeah. So 3 reasons why the Pirates will win the World Series the next 3 years. They're developing. They're on their way up, but I want to confirm this before I say it. Let me see. Yep. 3 reasons why the Pirates will win the World Series the next 3 years. Number 1, Henry Davis, 1-1 guy, first overall prospect or first overall pick in the draft, catching prospect. Anytime you can get a catcher and you can take him that high in the draft, he's probably going to be really good. Number 2, Oneil Cruz, 6'7", switch hitting, or even if I think he might just be left-handed, but 6'7" shortstop who can run, monster. And number 3, on the topic of all those prospects, they have, including those 2, 6 dudes in the top 100. So the foundation for the Phillies is there. It's right there. I mean, the foundation for the Pirates is there. They have the dudes. They're doing it the right way. Yeah, they're not paying their team very much, but it's like, at least they have a plan, and they drafted really well. And now they're going to bring those guys up. So who knows? Might have a little magic in them, Jared. I'll go ahead and take the next one because that's the squad here. Sucks to talk about. But 3 reasons why the Padres will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, Fernando Tatis Jr. Now, that might be the obvious answer, but it's not so obvious because he can't stay on the field. So if Fernando Tatis Jr. stays on the field for them and can play 155 games, they have a great chance to win the World Series. Number 2, pitching prospect, Mackenzie Gore. After this season, Yu Darvish is a free agent. Joe Musgrove is a free agent. Handful of other guys they have. They're losing pitching after this season. So if Mackenzie Gore, as the top prospect that he's been looked at as, can come up and live up to the potential and the hype that he's had, they will win the World Series. Number 3, the ownership for the Padres. They have openly talked about how they are willing to drop a bag to secure the best possible team they can put out on the field. That's huge if you want to win a World Series, to have an ownership group or an owner that is committed to spending a shit ton of money. So good for the Padres if their owner can contribute to their success. It's a big part of it. So that's the 3 reasons for the Padres, Jared.
All right. Yeah, and I tend to agree. And next up is San Francisco Giants. They have Joey Bart, another big-time top prospect coming up. For a team that needs some serious help in the lineup. I know they won a bunch of games last year, but if you go and look at their lineups that they were starting, you probably don't recognize like 4 of them.
Also, Jared, they just lost Buster Posey, so it's like,
lost Buster Posey, and they had Chris Bryant at the end of the year. So those are 2 huge names that so now you're really not going to know. I think the most recognizable name in that lineup now might be like Mikey Strzemski,
Brandon Crawford.
Brandon Belt,
Brandon Crawford,
Crawford's in the team. Crawford actually had a pretty good year last year too. But you know what I mean though. Like if those are the guys that you're bringing out there as like your poster boys. Like the lineup needs some help, and that's where Joey Bart comes in.
Yep.
And then obviously they just signed Carlos Rodone, who was pitching really well for the White Sox over the last couple of years. He's gonna solidify that rotation, and especially pitching in that park. I think he actually is a guy that got hurt by quite a few long balls. So I think him pitching in San Francisco, you're going to see some better stats out of him, and maybe surprise some people with like some a Cy Young-ish year. I don't know if he's got quite Cy Young job, but a Cy Young-ish potentially.
Yeah.
And then I know you're really high on this 3rd reason. Why don't you go ahead and take it?
Yeah, Camilo Doval, their closer. He throws like 99-mile-an-hour like cutting sinker balls. Like it just doesn't make sense with a wipeout slider. So Duvall is a huge piece for them. If he can be a lights out closer, he'll fall in line with the lights out closers they've had in the past of Brian Wilson and Sergio Romo. Just like young guys that just showed up and just shit on people. So I like Duvall a lot. I'll probably just take the rest of these, Jared, since I'm cooking now. I'm hot. I'm ready to roll. 3 reasons why the Mariners will win it all. Number 1, actually 3 reasons why the Mariners will win it all in the next 3 years. Doesn't have to be this year, the next 3 years. Number 1, Jerry Dipoto. He's their GM. He's a psychopath. He makes like just insane trades all the time and gets really good players. Number 2, their top prospect, Julio Rodriguez. He smashes baseballs and he's really good. And number 3, they have a great team on the field and a solid foundation and a base already. But they have 6 dudes in the top 100, including Julio Rodriguez. That is huge, like massive, massive. So their whole future is looking very bright for the Mariners. Don't be shocked if they make a nice run the World Series. 3 reasons why the Cardinals will win it in the next 3 years. Number 1, Dylan Carlson. He's going to be a massive piece for them. Switch hitting outfielder with pop. The guy smashes the ball. He was a top prospect for him, and he's come up and pretty much lived up to it for the most part. Number 2, speaking of prospects, Nolan Gorman. Nolan Gorman is a first baseman prospect for the Cardinals. He smashes balls. He's a left-handed bat. If he can come up and fill in for them in a corner outfield spot, if he can fill in as the DH or give Paul Goldschmidt some time off to be the DH, it's going to be huge for them. And number 3, they have veterans all over the joint. All over the joint. Adam Wainwright. They just signed Albert Pujols. Yadier Molina. At this point, guys like Harrison Bader might be considered a veteran. You know, guys like Goldschmidt, guys like Arenado. That is a team with a lot of baseball experience, and that is going to serve them very well in the coming years. 3 reasons why the Rays will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, Wander Franco. Enough said. Number 2, young pitching. Shane Baz, McClanahan, Kittredge. Who else is on that roster, Jared? Pitching-wise. Tyler Glasnow.
Glasnow. They have also they're
McClanahan, Drew Rasmussen. They have Ryan Yarbrough's a younger guy, Luis Patino, Peter Fairbanks. They have a lot of young pitching talent, and that is going to serve them very well. And then their 3rd reason is player development. There is not an organization in baseball that develops players better than the Tampa Bay Rays. You could probably list off about a dozen starting pitchers that came up through their system and then ended up elsewhere signing a big deal, or they ended up trading them for a big haul because they developed these guys so well. Chris Archer. I mean, if you want to go back even further, James Shields, David Price, Alex Cobb, Matt Moore. Dude, the list goes on and on and on. They have just loaded young pitching, and they have it again. And they develop players really well. So that's sets them up very well. 3 reasons why the Texas Rangers will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, as everybody knows, their up-the-middle combo is arguably the best in the sport, with Corey Seager at shortstop and Marcus Semien at second base. That combination right there is probably going to combine for close to 60 home runs and play pretty solid defense up the middle. So good for them. Number 2, Jack Leiter. Holy shit, is he good. Jack Leiter's going to come up for them, and he's going to start at the front end of the rotation. He's going to throw lights out. He's got the advisory committee of his father, Al Leiter, who was dominant in the major leagues, and he's set up for success. And number 3, they've clearly indicated that they have a budget, and they're going to be spending a lot of money, and they're committed to it. And that's huge. You have to spend money to win baseball games, and they're committed to it. So if they end up making a big splash in 2022, but they don't quite get there, but they're close, do not be surprised if they go out next offseason and smash out even more free agency, bring in some bigger guys, or extend some dudes, right? Because they have some young talent too. 3 reasons why the Blue Jays will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, Vlad Jr. is a freak. Number 2, their starting rotation is fucking ridiculous. Number 3, they play at the Rogers Center, and their lineup is really good. Vlad Jr. at the Rogers Center could easily hit 50 home runs this year. Matt Chapman will hit 30. Who else is on that team, Jared? Teoscar Hernandez will hit 30. Kevin Biggio will probably hit 20, 25. Bo Bichette will hit 30. I mean, it's a joke. Like, it's literally a joke.
The whole lineup, like is Grichuk still there?
No,
Grichuk's another guy.
Grichuk,
No, they moved
Rockies.
Grichuk?
Rockies.
The Rockies signed Grichuk?
The Rockies and Blue Jays traded Randall Grichuk for Raimel Tapia, straight up. You know
I
that?
didn't even hear about that one.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, it was like
I learned
last
something
week.
new on the podcast today.
Yeah, it was a very under the radar trade, but it happened. So the Rockies have Grichuk, by the way.
Yeah, 'cause
but
he might hit 30 home runs in Coors Field.
he definitely will, dude.
I like that.
Last team. 3 reasons why the Nationals will win the World Series in the next 3 years. Number 1, as we all know, Juan Soto. The guy is a freak, arguably the best hitter in the sport. Number 2, young talent. They have a decent group of young players. Obviously, Juan Soto, it's crazy to call him young still because he's been in the league for what seems like just decades, but he's still only, 24? They traded Max Scherzer and Trey Turner away, but in return, they got a guy like Josiah Gray, young, controllable prospect. They got Kyber Ruiz, young, controllable prospect. Cesar Hernandez, younger guy. Riley Adams is a younger, controllable infield guy for them. Carter Keyboom, young guy. They have a lot of young dudes that will make impacts for them, and maybe they make a splash. And reason number 3 plays into the younger guys because it's Nelson Cruz. They just signed Nelson Cruz to a contract. He is a vet. He's going to help those younger guys out. He's going to be around. He's been there. He's done that. He's fucking 40 years old. All the guy does is mash home runs too. So the combination of his on-the-field contributions and his off-the-field contributions with the guys on the roster, it's going to help them win a World Series in the next 3 years. Whew. So that'll do it, Jared. We covered all 30 teams. We were able to get 3 reasons why each team is going to win the World Series in the next 3 years. I think the only 3... Well, is there 3 or 4 teams that, honestly, 3 or 4 teams I feel like realistically there's just no chance they win the World Series in the next 3 years. Oakland A's, no chance. Reds, no chance. And there was one more, I feel like, where I was like, no fucking shot they win the World Series in the next 3 years. I mean, the Rockies are due for some magic. Maybe the Indians. Like, the Indians aren't bad, but it's like there is absolutely no chance they win the World Series in the next 3 years. The rest of these teams, it's like, dude, who knows, man? I mean, really, really, who knows? Even the Pirates, dude. Like, it sounds crazy. The Pirates, Jared, I don't know if you saw or heard about, you know who Mitch Keller is?
Yeah.
He's one of their young pitching prospects. So he was up in the major leagues last year, but he was like pretty bad. I mean, to be honest, he was just not that good. Did he get traded? Where is he? No, he didn't get traded. Why is he not on their roster? That's weird. Anyways, Mitch Keller, let's see. He's a young pitcher for them. Last year, Jared, he threw at a 6.17 ERA in 23 games. It's not good. But he was a high prospect for him, and he came up, and they were really excited for him, and he struggled. Just give it to you straight, Jared. He's struggled since he's been up. Last year, he was a starting pitcher for him most of the time. He was like 93 to 95. Comes out in his first spring training game this year and just first 4 fastballs, 99, 99, 100, 100. And they were like, whoa, who the fuck is this guy? So my point is, dude, even the Pirates, like, I feel more confident about the Pirates having success than the fucking Reds. You know what I mean? So it'd be interesting. Be interesting to see. I think the best next 3 years, look out for the Red Sox, look out for the Dodgers, look out for the Braves, look out for the White Sox, Brewers, possibly, Yankees, possibly, Mets, Mariners, Rays are always good, Blue Jays, I think. So, yeah, I mean, that pretty much wraps it up, Jared. Next episode, we're probably going to rip. Usually we try to go Mondays. We'll try to go Tuesday next week's for you guys because we do it in the evenings on Monday. Next, Monday evening, this upcoming Monday will be the College Basketball National Championship. Not going to be great timing for both of us, so because we both work and we'll have to be watching that game. So we'll probably do Tuesday, and on that Tuesday episode, we will do the entire National League, each division's standings predictions, and then we'll do awards for that episode because that will be the last episode before the season starts on Thursday, which is fucking awesome. So we'll do one episode next week, and then the week following, we'll get back into our 2 episodes per week schedule. That makes sense. So that being said, thank you guys very much for tuning in. We appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys checking us out. Between the Stitches, episode 6. It's pretty much the gist of it, Jared. Unless you got anything else for them, obviously, lay off the high cheese, as we always like to say, if you're a hitter. If you're a pitcher.
Or just in general.
Yeah, in life, right? In life, just lay off the high cheese.
Lay off the high cheese.
Yeah. But that's pretty much going to do it. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll catch you guys next Tuesday for episode 7. So, peace out. We'll catch you guys later.
Let's go.